Please welcome to the stage your next performer, Mr. Mike Spiegelman.
Hey, hi.
Hi. Don't go to the East Bay right now. Let's not go to the East Bay right now. How are you? Did you guys take the BART today? I took the ferry. It was great. I was there at like 5. No, I was there at like 6:45, waiting in line to go to Oakland. And I don't know if there's any indication of San Francisco, but there was a young guy who went right in front of us in line. So, great city we have nowadays, isn't it? Good influx of people. Anyway, that's not what I'm here for. When I told Mike, yes, I would love to give a state of the industry address on comic books tonight at the Cartoon Art Museum, he said, well, I just want you to tell a story about comics. And I said, well, there's one story. In high school, I was a dishwasher at a restaurant, and when I washed pots and pans, I had a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2, 3rd edition, right there, and I read it. And I said, well, what's the story? I said, it was #2, 3rd edition. And 22 years later, I'm watching Comic Book Men, and I watched that issue be sold for $4,000. So, that's my comic book story, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here because we need to save the Sunday comics, and I know how. And so you can save your applause after I tell you. I read the Sunday Comics, the Chronicle. Great thing about getting the Sunday Chronicle, subscribing to the Chronicle, is that you get it at least twice a month delivered to your doorstep. And I live out by the park, so Outside Lands, wash. Hardly Strictly Bluegrass, thanks for taking my Sunday paper. But I have a 5-year-old daughter, she's going to be 6 next week, and I lie to her when it comes to America. I pretend that reading is equivalent to video games and television. That we all watch TV, read books, and play video games. They're all very equal. And one way I propel this myth is to read the Sunday comics with her. And for God's sake, let me tell you why we need the Sunday comics. She's reading a newspaper, all right? She's going to be a featured newspaper reader if she keeps reading the newspaper. She knows exactly where the big 5 ad is, and she pulls that away, and boom, there's the comics. So here's my advice. Let's wholly subsidize the Sunday comics. Remember 100 years ago, there was a little pamphlet? Nintendo, I don't know, somebody, DC Comics has special 3D covers. How about a secret code inside the comics that they sponsor? And collectors will buy it. And then there you go. I mean, if there's articles about shaving cream because Macy's has ads, let's bring our own ads, okay? Let's have AR, augmented reality stuff on the paper that you could use your phone with, but you have to have the paper. Paper-based multimedia, huh? How about a QR reader? Remember the QRs from 10 years ago? Put that in there. You get an exclusive code for a DC comic that you can't find. Anyway, so the rest of my time, I would like to read the Sunday comics for you. Don't worry, it's the San Francisco Chronicle comics. This is going to take not that long. I'll show you how I read it to my girl, and I'll show you just what I think. So, when you have the comics, you want to have the most respectful comic that you are proud of right up front. And right off the bat, the San Francisco Chronicle misspelled Zippy the Pinhead. Totally misspelled it. Now, I use Doonesbury as a barometer of, is this going to be a decent Sunday comic? Because we all know, for the last 40 years, Sunday Doonesbury has 8 panels. 2 throwaway panels, and then 6. So if I don't see 8 panels off the bat, it's not going to be a good news. Not a good Sunday paper. So right off the bat. And by the way, when I read the Doonesbury to a 5-year-old, I have a voice, but when it's adult, I don't want her to know what Sonker is smoking. I kind of read like, oh yeah, crops burn, yeah. And then sometimes she'll say it again, and I have to act like I don't know what's going on. Like the firefighters are having the munchies, and I'm all like, oh yeah, I want a hamburger. Anyway, let's go to another comic. So, I want to say one word about Blondie. I don't know if you guys ever read. Blondie was not a comic book when it came out. It was a fad. It was a phenom. It was a serial about a rich billionaire or whatever, punk, who's dating a ditzy blondie, and will he marry her? But now it's all the worst. You guys like sketch comedy? Do you guys hate sketch comedy? Blondie is the worst of sketch comedy, which is, it's all about posture.
Hey boss, I quit. You can't quit, Loveset. You're fired.
So that's my impression of Blondie. They all have this weird. Now I do like. Let's go right to the heart and soul, which is Peanuts. I don't think there would be any comics without Peanuts. So I'm okay with classic Peanuts. However, after reading classic Peanuts, how many fucking strips did Charles Schultz draw in 1966? Like 7,000? I have yet to see. Go ahead, pick the Sunday. If it says 1967, I will buy you a beer, but it's not going to. So I like that. For better or for worse, if you don't know, ended its run, but she's redoing her old strips, and I'm okay with that. And when you read it with a kid, you say, well, there's mom, and mom says, and dad says. And I do that also for Zitz and Foxtrot. They're always mom and dad in these comics. And we like for better or for worse, but I do want to give a shout out to Zitz, because I think Zitz relates to everyone. He's a narcissistic, cocoon-loving kid, and I think we could all enjoy that. Now, before I talk about the anti-Semitism of Sherlock Fox, actually, let's talk religion. There's no BC. You guys remember when BC went like Christ crazy? So we have non sequitur. And by the way, if anyone knows these people, these are all great strips, Mike. All right, so I got the light, but I want to keep going because we got to talk about Garfield. Now, I'm 30 pounds overweight, and I grew up in the 80s, and I fully blame Garfield. Because Garfield, you know how like Family Circus started off, he was drinking martinis and smoking cigarettes, the worst of its era. In the 80s, you just sit around TV, couch potato, and you eat, and you have this entitled irony. This is what happens. So, I don't like Garfield anymore. My kid does. But my favorite comic strip, and my 5-year-old's favorite comic strip is right here. It's called Pearls Before Swine. And I'll tell you why it's the best comic strip for a 5-year-old. A lot of cursing. A lot of cursing. And he does a little squiggly thing. And she'll read it and she'll say that. Or she'll cover her ears with earmuffs. So I'm a big fan. And also, her favorite phrase, she says this in school, and I actually got her in trouble for this, is "you dumb pig," which is part of this comic. And then one time they had a piggy bank, and she goes, "You dumb piggy bank!" And I said, that's good. All right, so let's go to Shylock's Fox, because this is my least favorite thing. Can you guys spot the difference? I have a whole pile if you guys want to take a look. Because if you guys can spot the differences, I'd like to talk to you, because I don't know how you do it. It's really kind of creepy. Anyway, so that's been my time. I hope you guys listen and apply this. Thank you very much.